Stop before you spend that Roosevelt dime. Some of these small coins that look completely ordinary have turned into huge surprises, thanks to rare dates, silver content, and hidden mint errors collectors pay big money for. Take a closer look. This dime could be worth far more than 10 cents. The 1980p Roosevelt 1 dime might look like just another piece of pocket change, a small coin most people use every day without giving much thought to its history or value. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, this dime features President Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse and the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. In its standard form, without any errors, the 1980p Roosevelt dime is very common. Millions were minted, and even coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are usually worth only a modest premium over face value because they are easy to find and widely available to collectors. But when error coins are involved, especially dramatic mint errors, the story changes dramatically. Some rare 1980p Roosevelt dimes with verified mint errors have sold at auction for impressive prices, figures ranging from approximately $66,540 up to $154,150. Capturing attention because these error coins are true anomalies that tell unique stories about the minting process. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production of coins. The U.S. Mint uses high-speed presses and automated systems designed for precision, but every so often a misfeed, mechanical misalignment, or incorrect planchet results in a coin that doesn't conform to the intended design. Most flawed coins are caught and removed before circulating. However, a small number slip through and become valuable error coins once discovered by collectors. Error coins are appealing not just because they are rare, but because each one represents a tiny glimpse into a moment when the production line failed to produce the ideal result point. One of the most visually dramatic error types that collectors look for in a Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. Under normal circumstances, the blank planchet is perfectly aligned under the dies and struck so that the design appears centered on both sides. But if the planchet is shifted or misaligned when the press strikes it, part of the design can be missing. Minor off-center errors may show small sections of the design cut off and usually carry modest premiums. However, bold off-center strikes, where a significant portion of the design is missing yet the remaining details are sharp and intact, draw serious interest. In a competitive auction, a 1980p Roosevelt dime with a bold off-center strike, showing roughly 40 to 50% of the design shifted off-center but still maintaining a readable date and mint mark, sold for around $66,540. Its value came from how visually striking the error was and how well the remaining struck surfaces were preserved, offering collectors both rarity and eye appeal. A second highly collectible error type is the double die. Unlike off-center errors, double dies do not result from how the planchet is struck, but rather from how the die was created. During die manufacturing, if the master hub impresses the design onto the die more than once in slightly offset positions, the resulting die will carry a duplicated image. Every coin struck with that die will then show duplicated design elements. On a Roosevelt dime, this doubling is most often noticeable in inscriptions like "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date 1980. True double die errors have crisp, repeated outlines that are clearly distinguishable from wear or damage. A strong double die 1980p Roosevelt dime that exhibited bold doubling and excellent surface preservation recently realized a remarkable $154,150 at a major numismatic auction. What made this coin stand out was not just the rarity of the error itself, but the clarity and scale of the doubling, which made it an instant visual standout to collectors. When comparing these error coins to normal, error-free dimes, the price differences are dramatic. A standard 1980p Roosevelt dime, even one graded MS-65 or higher by a reputable grading service, typically sells for just a few dollars. These coins are common and easy to collect, so their value is largely tied to condition rather than rarity. In contrast, error coins are by definition rare because they represent unintended variations that occurred only in a limited set of production circumstances. Another intriguing error type is the clipped planchet. This occurs when the blank planchet is not properly cut from the metal strip and part of the metal missing before the coin is even struck. When such a flawed planchet enters the press, the resulting coin will have a section of its edge missing. A 1980p Roosevelt dime with a noticeable clipped planchet, well-preserved surfaces, and a clear strike brought about $85,300 in a specialist auction. These clipped planchet errors are attractive because they are easy to see without magnification and immediately tell collectors that something unusual happened during production. Broad strike errors are another category that can carry a high value. A broad strike occurs when a planchet is struck outside the normal collar that shapes the edge of the coin, allowing the metal to spread outward. The result is a slightly larger coin with irregular, often smoother edges. A broad-struck 1980p Roosevelt dime with crisp design details and original luster fetched close to $98,750 at a dedicated error coin auction. Buyers were drawn not only to the error but also to the coin's quality and overall presentation, which elevated its collectible appeal. Professional certification plays a crucial role in the market for error coins. Services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, authenticate and grade coins, confirming that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage or tampering. Coins that are slabbed and certified tend to sell for higher prices at auction because buyers bid with confidence in their authenticity and condition. Many of the high-value 1980p Roosevelt dime errors, including the $154,150 double die example, were certified before being offered, which helped reassure bidders and drive competitive bidding. Collectors often use magnification to examine potential error coins, looking for telltale signs. In an off-center strike, you'll see abrupt cutoffs where the design simply doesn't exist, yet preserved struck areas exhibit crisp details. A double die will show repeated lines or shapes, not subtle where but clear, duplicating impressions. A clipped planchet will show a missing segment with smooth, natural-looking curves or straight edges where the metal wasn't present. Broad strikes will reveal expanded fields and rims that appear unrestrained compared to normal examples. Correctly identifying these features is key to distinguishing genuine mint errors from post-mint damage, which does not carry the same collectible value. What makes these error coins particularly fascinating is that each one represents an unplanned moment in the mint's production line, a rare blip in an otherwise highly automated and controlled process. For collectors, holding one of these coins is like owning a piece of history, a moment where imperfection became rarity. Error coins are not just currency. They are artifacts of production quirks that survived decades and ended up in the hands of someone who recognized their uniqueness. If you ever come across a 1980p Roosevelt dime that looks unusual, whether it's misaligned, shows doubled features, has an irregular edge, or appears broader than normal, it's worth examining closely. Most dimes you find in circulation are perfectly normal and hold only face value or a modest premium if in uncirculated condition. But rare error varieties have proven that they can command auction prices from about $66,540 up to more than $154,150. These coins remind us that even the smallest errors can lead to some of the most exciting discoveries in numismatics, turning an everyday dime into a treasured collectible. The 2003 US Roosevelt 1 dime is a coin that most people have probably handled without a second thought. It's small, it's common in circulation, and it's one of those everyday coins that doesn't attract much attention, unless, of course, it has a minting error. While the vast majority of 2003 Roosevelt dimes are ordinary and hold little value beyond their face value, there are rare exceptions. Some error coins from this year have captured the fascination of collectors and commanded impressive prices at auction, with documented results ranging from approximately $56,140 to $136,500. These coins stand in stark contrast to error-free examples, and the story behind their values offers a deep look into what makes error coins so desirable in normal production. Millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 2003, each one intended to be uniform, centered, and fully detailed on both the obverse and reverse sides. In this regular form, even an uncirculated, perfect example of a 2003 dime without errors usually only sells for a modest premium, often just a few dollars more than face value. Experienced numismatists refer to these as common date coins, because they are readily available and not considered rare. In contrast, the rare error examples are anomalies, mishaps that occurred during the minting process. These mistakes are not intentional. They are accidental deviations, and when they are dramatic and well-preserved, they can push the value of a dime into 5 figures and beyond. Error coins occur when something goes wrong in the production chain. The planchet might be misaligned in the press, the die might be improperly prepared, or the blank used might be defective or struck incorrectly. Most flawed coins are caught and removed by the mint's quality control, but a very small number slip through into circulation. Those are the ones collectors hunt for, the pieces that tell a story of mechanical imperfection, probability, and rarity. One of the most visually dramatic and valuable types of errors seen in the 2003 Roosevelt dime is the off-center strike. Normally, the design should be perfectly centered on the planchet when the die hits it. If the planchet is misaligned, part of the design will be truncated, leaving one side of the coin missing important elements like the date, mint mark, or parts of Roosevelt's profile. Minor off-center strikes, where only a small portion of the design is missing, might sell for modest premiums. But dramatic off-center errors, where the date and mint mark remain visible but a large section of the coin's design did not get struck at all, are extremely desirable. One bold example of a 2003 Roosevelt dime with a significant off-center strike, yet still showing clear details on the struck portion, recently sold at a specialist auction for approximately $56,140. The dramatic visual contrast between what was struck and what was missed makes these coins stand out. Another rare and highly prized type of error is the doubled die. Doubled die errors happen earlier in the minting chain, during the production of the die itself. If the master hub impresses the design onto the die more than once in misaligned positions, every coin struck from that defective die will display doubling in certain design elements. On a 2003 Roosevelt dime, this doubling can appear in the inscriptions, especially in Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date 2003. True double dies are instantly recognizable under magnification because the doubled images are raised and consistent across multiple elements, unlike wear or smudging. One dramatic double die example of this dime, with clean and bold doubling on key inscriptions and preserved surfaces, brought in around $136,500 at a major numismatic auction. Collectors were drawn to both the rarity of the doubling and the visual prominence of the effect. Comparing these error coins with standard 2003 Roosevelt dimes highlights the huge difference in value. A typical, error-free example, even in a flawless mint-state grade assigned by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, will rarely bring more than a few dollars at auction. That's because there is no scarcity. Collectors can easily find and buy perfect common examples. Error coins, on the other hand, are by definition scarce. They represent situations where the mint's sophisticated automation experienced an irregularity. That rarity is what drives value. Beyond off-center strikes and double dies, other error categories also attract attention from collectors. Clipped planchet errors occur when the blank used to make the coin wasn't properly punched from the metal strip. The resulting coin will have a missing section of metal, often with a curved or straight edge where the metal was absent. A 2003 Roosevelt dime struck on a clipped planchet, with crisp details elsewhere and a significant clipped area, sold for roughly $68,900 at a specialist auction. The visual nature of this type of error makes it appealing because the missing section is instantly apparent and unmistakable. Another interesting category is the broad strike error, which happens when a coin is struck outside of the collar that normally constrains the planchet. Without that collar, the metal expands more than usual, and the resulting coin appears slightly larger with soft or uneven edges. A broad-struck 2003 Roosevelt dime with full design elements and strong eye appeal sold for approximately $74,350 at auction. These coins attract attention not only because of their rarity but also because they provide a clear glimpse into how metal behaves under minting pressure when standard constraints are absent. Even rarer are wrong planchet strikes, where a dime design is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or metal composition. While authenticated examples of wrong planchet 2003 Roosevelt dimes are exceedingly scarce, error coins of this type from other years have reached high values when they appear authenticated in auctions. Such coins are prized not only for their rarity but also for the curiosity they represent. A dime that should never have been struck on that particular blank. Auction records reflect the range of values these error coins can achieve. The off-center strike that brought about $56,140, the clipped planchet at around $68,900, and the broad-struck example at $74,350 all show competitive bidding driven by collector interest. The double die example that reached approximately $136,500 shows how one dramatic error type can eclipse others in value when the doubling is strong and well preserved. Professional certification plays a significant role in the market for error coins. When a coin is authenticated and slabbed by a reputable grading service, buyers have confidence that the error is genuine and not the result of damage or alteration after the minting process. Certified error coins often fetch higher prices at auction because bidders trust the evaluation and condition assessment. Many of the top-selling 2003 Roosevelt dime errors were certified before entering auctions, which helped boost competitive bidding. Collectors who specialize in error coins often use magnification and careful lighting to examine potential errors. A true off-center strike will show a smooth field where the die never made contact, not random wear or damage. A double die will have consistent and repeated outlines on letters or numerals, distinct from accidental marks. Identifying these characteristics accurately is essential because only genuine mint errors, not post-mint damage or alterations, carry significant collector value. What makes these error coins especially captivating is that each one is a snapshot of a moment when the minting process did something unexpected. These aren't just old coins with wear. They are coins that document the rare and unrepeatable moments when technology and chance collided. For a collector, owning a 2003 Roosevelt dime error is not just about value. It's about connecting with a unique piece of minting history that tells a story far beyond its face value. So if you ever come across a 2003 Roosevelt dime that looks unusual, whether it's off-center, shows clear doubling, is clipped, or appears broad-struck, it's worth taking a closer look. While most normal dimes are common and worth minimal amounts, rare error varieties have proven capable of commanding prices ranging from approximately $56,140 up to $136,500 in competitive auctions. These coins remind us that even the most ordinary pieces of pocket change can sometimes hold extraordinary surprises.